Grave Tone.
Welcome to another episode of Grave Tone, where horror comes to life in every form it takes. I'm Megan.
I'm Arthur.
And it's summer. I'm sorry. I didn't have another lead-in for this at all because I gave it zero
segue.
thought. Listen, it's summer, and that means that it's just summer release season, and I don't know what it is. I really like a good, horror release in the summer, like a bigger something that also is set during this time of year. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it makes sense. They don't do a lot of those. It's always October, which is great.
Which is fine. Yeah. I don't have an issue with it. But it's just, and it's also been a number of years since we've gotten a summer camp slasher or anything, which is the only other thing that you see on a regular basis. So throw it into the canon of stuff, which, you know what? It did not occur to me until today that I was like, you could throw this into 4th of July horror specifically.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Because the original film as well is the same.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's
how it works when it's a requel.
Yeah. Yes, so that's what we're diving into today. So as I'm sure the title of the episode has told you, we have just come back this evening from seeing the new requel of I Know What You Did Last Summer, which just came out today, which is Friday, July 18th, 2025, just came out in theaters. We went to see it. Then we went to dinner and somehow did not talk about it at all the entire time.
Yeah, seriously. Because we wanted to talk about it.
We wanted this to be, I don't know, I think so far with what we're doing, we're trying to keep it an authentic conversation. I don't want to plan anything ahead of time for what we're talking about. It's all first impressions, all that stuff. So I know that we did this previously in the last episode with Megan 2.0 as well. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do just a little bit of basic overview of things, a couple of feelings about things. And then when we get to the point where we're really actually going to talk about spoilers, either major plot points, characters, all that stuff, we'll give a quick spoiler warning so that you guys are aware of it, a major one, because it's just come out as well. So just to have make sure everybody can either skip or stop and come back later if they need to. Okay, so I don't know if anybody happens to be listening and is not in the know, which seems insane. The original I Know What You Did Last Summer came out in 1997 and followed a story of 4 teens who, on one sort of drunken evening after a festival, accidentally hit and allegedly, they think anyway, they've killed a man on the road who happens to be walking around this really dangerous peak on the cliffs. Man, they should shut that highway down. Let me tell you, it looks really dangerous there.
It is.
I hate this.
What is it they called it? It was Reaper's Curve?
Curve or
yeah,
it was something like that. Yeah, that's it exactly, which, it seems fitting because that seems so dangerous.
It's no lights there.
Narrow river roads and stuff stress me out. I'm like,
and it was on
God.
top of a cliff, too.
Oh, terrible. And, they think they've killed this man, and then 1 year later, they start receiving threatening notes, and slowly but surely, they're all picked off, in typical slasher fashion, basically. And it's, and it also plays out in your sort of usual, whodunit style kind of thing, because you're always trying to figure out who the killer is, right? So, also consider, I Know What You Did Last Summer piggybacked off of, the success of Scream. So we were definitely playing on that. Also, was written the film, I should say. So this is based technically extremely loosely based on a 1973 novel by Lois Duncan called I Know What You Did Last Summer, which does very vaguely cover the idea of teenagers, I believe, accidentally hitting someone with their car, but it's very much more of romantic drama, the trauma that they received from this. The book is completely different.
No, not the same. Don't like it.
No, Lois Duncan was not a fan of the film initially when it came out. I believe she's passed away now, so she won't have seen this new one, but she was not a fan of that movie when it came out. She hated it because it had really kind of butchered the actual work and the original novel that she'd written.
That makes sense.
So the original, as I said, the first iteration of the film came out in 1997. It was directed by a Scottish director, actually, by the name of Jim Gillespie, and written by Kevin Williamson. We love Kevin Williamson. Thank you very much for all of the 90s stuff that you possibly could have provided us with, Kevin. Kevin famously wrote the treatments and I believe screenplays for Scream 1, 2, and 4.
Cool. Okay.
Also created Dawson's Creek, The Vampire Diaries.
Wow, okay. He's
very big deal. Very big deal.
Yeah, he's legit.
And has more recently created, The Following, which was on Fox for a few years, starring Kevin Bacon. That was a pretty good show, actually. Okay. Tell Me a Story, and actually just recently on Netflix, The Waterfront, which I had noticed while I watched that show earlier this year, like family, crime, drama kind of thing, small town as well. Anyway, whatever. He's a big deal.
Yeah, by the sound of it, he is. Exactly.
Yeah, he's a big deal. He also wrote The Faculty, Cursed. He's worked with like a bunch of different people, and he worked with Wes Craven a few times on a few different films, which is cool. So anyway, so we love Kevin Williamson here. I'm actually kind of sad he wasn't involved in this new film at all.
Oh.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Okay.
It's too bad. Oh. Anyway, so but he's also busy directing Scream 7 right now.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why.
So anyway, brief overview for people who don't know. That's it. Like that's so I Know What You Did Last Summer takes place in the small town of Southport, North Carolina, which is a beautiful setting, by the way. I will say, like even in the original film, they've got like really great shots by the water and stuff.
Yeah, it's very nice. I would visit.
You kind of I don't. That's not where they filmed. I don't think, especially. I think they might have filmed in North Carolina for the original film, but they did not film this one. Okay. I think they filmed in Australia, so a little bit different.
That's still pretty cool.
Yep. This film picks things up as the requel style that, like, Scream has spawned now, as, like, when Scream 5 kicked off and we did a mixture of new story and legacy characters that were kind of involved. This one follows much the same sort of, I guess, style to a degree, right? Where we've got a new cast of characters and a new storyline to a degree. However, we also bring back our legacy characters for the nostalgia factor.
I mean, it's the same storyline.
Well, very incredibly similar. The accident or the inciting incident is slightly different, and that's about the only change.
Yeah, I guess.
To a degree. And then obviously also like the modernization of things, because we're talking 27 or so years later. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Just tell me, before we get into spoilers and stuff, just general feelings. How do you feel about this movie?
Mixed feelings. There's some things that I loved, obviously some things that I didn't. I mean, the open sequence was hilarious because it's like literally the exact same shot as the first movie.
Oh my God, yeah, that was so funny. We started chuckling in the theater.
Yeah, exactly. And they had like, that kind of like grungy punk music type of thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was
weird
interesting.
Indie pop stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, look, because I find that they didn't do anything that much different.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff that was, I don't know if it either felt forced, or some of the humor was just kind of like, I rolled my eyes a bunch of times and I was like, really? Okay, we have like this dumb girl who's doing dumb jokes. Like, this is not 2025 anymore. You know what I mean?
Actually, we need to talk about that a little bit, because there were like different aspects of things that I, didn't love, but also a couple of things like that I liked more than I thought I was going to. I think that if you go into this film with the idea that like it's for the fun, nostalgic factor of it, I don't know how people who haven't watched the original film are watching this movie and just like having a good time with it. I don't feel like you'll enjoy it, because it's very campy.
It's super camp.
And I appreciate that it didn't take itself super seriously.
No, I don't think
it leaned more into the comedy than I thought it was going to, which was a kind of a welcome.
I think it helped it more than anything else.
I agree. I think it was a welcome addition, and I did not hate that at all. Exactly. So that was nice. And I feel like I feel like just it helped it to not be like, I'm taking myself super seriously as a legacy sequel. I don't think it was doing that at all, which I think was probably a better choice. And I think if you go into things kind of expecting to maybe have a fun, campy time, you will like this movie. Yeah. You will enjoy it. It's fun. It's entertaining as a rule. Like the majority of what happens, it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, I guess because we have no choice but to kind of veer into like characters and maybe more major plot lines. So, so I'm just going to give like an off the cuff. So spoiler alert, just like major spoiler alert, because we're probably going to touch on things that will ruin large portions of this film.
Yes.
So if you don't care, cool. But if you do, you might want to come back later.
Yeah, after you watch that.
Exactly. So... okay, so what should we talk about first? Do we want to talk through characters a little bit first? Like kind of like how we felt about some different things?
Sure.
Okay. So this is a slightly larger friend group than the original group. The original group's 4 people,
well,
right?
This one was 5.
Was it 5?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes, okay, fine. Plus 4 plus 1.
Yeah.
Which is almost kind of a dead giveaway for things that happen later, in my opinion. That was my guess off the bat.
Oh,
you know
what
I mean?
You mean?
That
okay,
like plus 1 extra. I was like,
I just caught on to this based on how it ends. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah. So it's Chase Sui Wonders who plays the lead character of Ava. She's I haven't seen her in anything except Bodies. So that's what she was. That's what she's in. She plays a character named Emma, I think, in Bodies. That's a fun film, and one that like is good at making fun of itself on like multiple scales. It was clever. It's funny.
Yeah, and
it's
kind of not what you expect at the end.
Correct. Yeah, that's it. So she plays Ava. Her and her ex-boyfriend Milo are going back to Southport, even though they've not lived there for a couple of years, because their best friends Danica and Teddy, who still live there, are getting married. They decide to have, again, like a night of nostalgia and go driving up at that horrible, like, fucking Reavers Curve or whatever the heck they call it, up on, like, the River Mountain Road. And they reunite and take a friend of theirs, Stevie, with them.
Yeah, who
they've fallen out of contact with.
High school and stuff. And
she fell on hard times. There's like a very vague backstory with like her dad squandering her college fund and taking off. So, so she's still living in town and having to work in town at like a minimum wage type job. So they take off, and that's it. There's an inciting incident in which Teddy's fucking around he's like your sort of like trust fund kid. Type of them, because they all kind of like, a lot of them sort of mirror to a degree the original characters, right? So Teddy kind of mirrors Ryan Phillippe's character, Felipe. Somebody help me with that. From the original film. What's his name? Barry.
Yeah, Barry Cox.
Except that...
Which is interesting enough, because apparently producers wanted to kind of squeeze him in as another cameo. Yep.
He's dead. Yeah, why did they do that?
They did the same thing with Michelle Gellar.
Yes, except that they did it well with Sarah Michelle Gellar. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
But that's what I'm saying. So they thought about squeezing him in, but they thought it would be like kind of like too much. Like
it feels a little too fan servicey.
Yeah,
eventually.
Exactly. But apparently, at least from what I'm reading on people.com, that they said that he might come back down the road. He might appear down the road.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, another like spoiler. There is an indication towards the end of this film, due to a mid-credit scene, that we're potentially going to get a sequel, possibly, if this does well enough, probably.
Exactly. That's it.
So, except the differences, I guess, between, like, again, to modernize the characters a bit, obviously the differences between, like, Barry and Teddy is that, like, yeah, Teddy's like a spoiled, like, trust fund kid who's under his father's thumb, but, like, Barry in the original film is a fucking asshole.
Yes.
He's terrible. And Ryan Felipe plays the character pretty well in that original film, because apparently the character's written as, like, a gigantic football player. Like, he's supposed to be, like, 6'4", like, really built. And, like, he's not, like, super small, but he's not that big of a guy, right? So apparently all of the aggression that you see from that character in the original film is because he played it up purposefully to make up, because Freddie Prinze Jr. is bigger than him.
Yes.
And so he played it up purposely to make the character really aggressive to compensate for some of that.
Okay. I mean, look, that makes sense.
Yeah, which I kind of understand.
Can see that, yeah.
So there's them. Of course, obviously, Ava mirrors Julie James's character from the original film, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt. So they're the final girl trope type of character. You've got your... not dumb jock anymore, but you've got your like trust fund kid, big football player looking guy, played by an actor named Tyreek Withers, actually, who will be starring in the upcoming film this coming fall, Him, the football sort of weird psychological horror type thing produced by Jordan Peele that's coming out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so I believe he's playing the lead in that film, actually, because I thought he looked familiar because we've seen him in the trailer.
Right. He was pretty good.
Yeah, I did not hate that character. I will say, like, the writing was not bad in this film, because I thought I was going to hate some of these characters more than I did. A couple of them were, like, not particularly useful to a degree. They were kind of throwaways, but otherwise, like, it wasn't bad that way. And then of course you have your Sarah Michelle Gellar or Helen Shivers mirrored character in Danica.
Yes, of course.
Played by Madeline Klein, who, again, I thought I was going to completely hate, but Madeline Klein is actually quite charming, so she does make some of it funny.
Yeah, no, she made it funny. It was good. Like, I mean, look, you can't control the script and everything, but she worked with it.
Yeah,
there were some actually pretty funny.
Yeah. And I mean, like, she's like, she's got like a decent amount of like stuff under her belt at this point. She starred in every single season of Outer Banks on Netflix. At this point, I think that's what she's most well known for. And she was in Glass Onion, the last Knives Out movie that came out. She was in that too. So yeah, so she's that mirror, and then of course you've got. I mean, technically, this one, in my opinion, this was like the most I guess, poor stand-in. Jonah Howard King, who plays Milo, who's, I guess, your Freddie Prinze Jr. stand-in, sort of. He plays Ava's like ex-boyfriend, who she may or may not be reuniting with, essentially, at this wedding. So anyway, so all of that happens. They have their inciting incident, and of course you have your usual, like, we've run someone off the road. Oh no, what do we do? And Teddy, his dad, basically owns the entire town, and so there's a cover-up that ensues. And in typical final girl fashion, Ava's the one who's like, I want to go to the police. I want to be honest. I want to do this. And everybody else kind of convinces her that they shouldn't do that in a much less aggressive way than in that original movie. Because Barry basically almost threatens to push Julie off the fucking cliff in the first movie. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, but I thought that
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen. Shopify.com/listen.
That scene was actually a lot better. It made more sense because, it wasn't the whole drunk driving thing, because the driver was not really drunk, as far as we know, at least.
No, she wasn't, and that's what she says. Is Danica says she's driving because she's sober.
Yeah, exactly, and she was fine. So it was just kind of like something that could have happened. You could be just playing around on the road, and someone comes around the curve and tries to avoid you, and that's what happens. I kind of agree,
honestly.
So I like that part, and also the whole thing of convincing everyone in whatever it is. Also was very believable. You know what I mean?
Because Dad can cover this up and make it
because
look like
he can cover it up, but also the guy was like, no, I'm gonna go and call the police. It's fine. And then he kind of does an anonymous tip, and they're like, no, we're gonna go to the police station. But then they don't end up going.
But they don't, because he didn't call. He did not call the police.
No, he did call the police.
I don't know. I think he called his dad.
He called someone because the cops were coming when they were leaving.
Agreed. I feel like his father could have called them and been like, look, this happened.
Regardless, they did call to get help or whatever it is, but they didn't want to get themselves implicated.
Yeah.
So all that is very believable, because you can be like, yeah, okay, I believe that he called someone and we see someone coming, but then they don't go to the police, right?
Yeah.
So I found that scene was, I guess, a little bit more relatable.
I agree. It felt more realistic.
Exactly.
It felt more realistic. I agree. I agree. And then, of course, you go through your usual mirror of the first film, where obviously everybody becomes estranged to a degree, because they're all dealing with the trauma of what they.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1 year later and they skip all that, so thank God they do.
Yeah, well, they always skip it.
Yeah,
they always skip it. They're always 1 year later, we don't want to deal with it.
They could have made it different. So
I guess, but I feel like that would have been too long anyway.
I'm just saying it's good. We don't need that.
Yeah, and we get a little presto changeo, because Ava and Milo, of course, return to Southport for technically what's leading up to Danica's wedding. However, her and Teddy are no longer together, and she's marrying this random guy named Wyatt, who's definitely a semi-functioning alcoholic.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, she even says it in one of the scenes.
The man has a popped collar on his shirt that he's wearing.
She even says it in the scene. She's like, oh,
I know he's kind of an alcoholic, and
you're
like,
he kind of drinks a lot, but it's fine. Like, what?
I will say the movie does not take itself very seriously. No. And then, of course, that's it. You get the first note, I know what you did last summer, kicks off a whole chain of events of people starting to die, starting with Danica's new fiance and all that jazz, and then kind of spirals from there as we go through our whodunit aspect of things, and we try to figure out who the killer is in this particular instance. Like you do with a Scream film, like you do with a lot of these kinds of things, they have that slightly meta sort of overlay to them in a way.
Yeah, especially with this one, it was double, because now you had the old school characters coming back, because now they needed to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because they've dealt with this before and everything, so they're asking for help from
Julie and Ray is who you're thinking of right now.
Julie's character.
Yeah, we know.
And then Ray's character anyways. So
yeah. So Julie lives a little ways away and teaches at a college, and so she sought out, and then Ray actually still lives and works in town and owns a local business. And it turns out that they used to be married and are obviously not on speaking terms. They seem to hate each other. So
exactly.
Yikes. And so they're kind of brought into it, and that's how they reintroduce these legacy characters into the story, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, overall, how did you feel about the characters, as a rule?
They were good. Like I don't know, Milo.
Milo
didn't do much. I find it was kind of like
He was in the movie.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I did like the Teddy character. You know, he was pretty good. I mean, I feel like everyone else was actually pretty good.
Well, they had more to do. I feel like they didn't really write much for Milo to do, right?
No,
like he was just
that's
there.
it. He was kind of like just quiet and sometimes mopey.
Yeah, that's about it.
And then he got killed off.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
There really wasn't much more to it.
But he also didn't like do much.
No,
like other characters, they uncovered stuff where they were like in danger, but also then survived one of the attacks.
Yep.
There was the whole kind of like red herring with that podcaster girl who came to kind of do a cover of the 1997 murders, whatever it is. But she was, she was obviously expendable.
Tyler. Yeah, Tyler was funny.
She was obviously expendable.
Tyler was like giving that girl gives 90s supermodel in a way that like I cannot describe, but just like the entire way that she was styled, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I know. That's it. But yeah, otherwise, you know what? I mean, I feel like everyone else was kind of like pretty well rounded off, I guess, as characters themselves. Jennifer Love Hewitt character didn't get to do that much, or maybe
like she was she did get, at least she was there for more than a bit. Apparently,
she was there for the important stuff, but not a lot of screen time, which is fine. I mean, you don't want the legacy character to start taking.
Well,
over
apparently there was a lot of back and forth because she has a lot of scheduling conflicts because she's on 911.
Oh, okay, well there you go.
So and her, it's a TV show, right? So you're there a lot more.
Yeah, of
like
course.
There's a lot more to do. So that was tricky, I think. But she also didn't want to be there for 30 seconds just to say hi and then bye. Like she actually wanted to be there, which makes sense.
Okay, so then so all of that makes sense then. Yeah. No, you know what? I liked everyone apart from the ones that I named. It was overall well rounded. Some funny characters, some characters who actually do important things.
Agreed.
Some characters who you're kind of like not sure about, but anyways.
Yeah.
No,
that's it.
I think it was good. I think the cast mixed well with each other.
I do think they had good chemistry.
The legacy characters didn't take too much of the screen.
Agreed.
At the same time, you know what I mean? So it was a good balance in that sense.
Yeah, that's true, because it can be difficult with these types of things sometimes for it not to overtake.
That's it. And you don't want the legacy characters to overtake because then they're just redoing the same movie from 27 years ago.
Yeah, that's it. And at that point, you may as well not have new characters. You may as well just have the old characters coming back and having their own film. At that point, you may as well just do that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So. They did the usual thing to move on to another aspect. They did the usual thing where we upgrade the level of violence as we do, because in the late 90s we weren't doing that very much. A lot of our stuff wasn't very bloody, but we always like to up the blood count. It wasn't insane, but we always like to up the blood count.
No, it was pretty good.
When we do a requel, when we do a legacy sequel like this, we always make it bloodier. They talk about this in Scream too.
Yeah, that's it. So apparently what they did is that you probably noticed it because of how giant the blade hook was.
It was so big.
It was ginormous.
It's like a little hook hand in the first one.
No, forget it. So for this one, that's like they did it on purpose. So they got upgraded it. So it also has a sharpened inner blade. So it wasn't just like a hook, because the previous one was just a hook.
Of course.
You hook stuff with it. It's for ice to transport, whatever. This one had a sharpened inner blade. That they kind of done it because they wanted to have, like you were just saying, more blood and stuff.
Yeah, correct.
And apparently the crew was jokingly calling in the Costco-sized buckets of blood that this thing delivered. So funny little trivia about the movie.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah, but no, it was pretty good. It was huge and ridiculous. But
it was massive. I mean, it looked cool.
It looked cool.
It looked cool. I mean, you know what? Even maybe it's also because I'm thinking of this from the perspective of a kid of the 90s who watched this film not long after it came out and stuff. But I mean, while it might not live in the iconography of horror the way that a lot of other villains do, the fisherman look is kind of fun. As the killer, if you think about it, it's not going to stack up to Jason or Ghostface or whatever or anything like that, but it does look cool, I find.
Yeah, it's true. And I feel like if you see it, you will also instantly recognize
you'll remember
the movie
what movie it's from.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, for sure. So that's fun. So we upped that. Yeah, some of the kills were pretty good. This one, there was a lot of fanfare to the way that the bodies were displayed in this one.
Yes.
They were very much we're going to put it out here and we're going to make it look cool. We're just going to make it so that everybody sees how violent it is.
I mean, there were also some scenes that the one where they're displayed on basically by the water.
Yes.
I was kind of laughing internally when I saw that. I was like, oh, okay, it's broad daylight and there's 2 bodies hooked up to these chains.
And also, like, what is
and
it?
And you're like, what?
Is it
when
6 in the
happen?
morning and there's this big of a crowd around, like, first thing in the morning?
No, it looked like it was like mid-afternoon.
Yeah, it was very, I know, it's very weird.
It's
you're like, yes,
like,
I'm sure the killer just hoisted them up there.
Yeah, I was like, hey, guys, please don't look. It's not ready yet. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God. Also, can we talk about the level of characters in this film that are, like, really rich enough that they have automatic opening doors and fucking elevators in their houses. I was like,
wild.
Like Teddy's family's house, they have automatic sliding opening doors, and there's an elevator inside their home. His dad literally uses it in one of the scenes. I was like, okay.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
For a house.
Can you imagine having an elevator in your house?
How lazy are you? Fucking take the stairs.
Use the stairs. That's ridiculous.
It is good for you.
Nobody's mobility reduced in this. Nobody needs them.
That's it.
Teddy's in really good shape. Like, no one needs them. They're all fine. Ridiculous.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was cool to see all of that come back. Let's see, what else should we cover here? Oh, how did you feel about the killer? How did you feel about the reveal of everything?
So I usually get really into the movies and I try not to think about who could it be.
I'm terrible with that.
You are terrible with that because
with that.
You think of it and then you turn to me and it's like, I think it's this one.
I'm sorry.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, like, I was like, yes, that makes total sense when you did say it, but...
I guessed, okay, so again, spoilers. I don't want anybody to get mad at me. We're pulling a Scream in this film. This is the first time that I know you did. True. Last summer, film has multiple killers, so we've got 2 in this one.
Yeah, that's it.
So the initial killer, which I had was originally my guess, was the 5th member of the friend group, Stevie, who is shoehorned back in, as we said, because she's poor now. And has had to has had personal things and whatever that she's dealt with and stuff. And when that was happening, I personally was looking at it from the perspective of she'll have resentment. And so that will maybe have caused her to seek vengeance in some capacity because her friends abandoned her in a time of need. That's where I thought that was going with that. And then I think there was a point a little while before Stevie was revealed to be the first killer where I guessed the second one or a potential second one. I was like, they could do this.
Yeah, well, so the only reason that I thought there was a second one is because when they were showing the kills and, kind of like him or the killer hunting those kids and whatever it is, not some of those shots, there's some scenes that that killer is taking a beating.
Oh my God.
And I'm sorry, but when you get hit in the head or your head butted it,
also a couple of them, there were a lot of the chase scenes went on longer in this one, obviously, they were more intricate and everything. Although granted, I will say in the original, Helen's whole chase through her store, the family store, is iconic. It's so cool. That's a great one. But a lot of the other ones are a lot shorter. And this one, they expanded on them quite a bit, which was fun. But to your point, I think that something, for instance, the back and forth, particularly with Teddy, that happens. He's a big guy.
But that's what I'm saying.
First of all, that's why, he takes quite a few hits before he actually goes down for good, and that he really holds his own against that person. And Stevie's very small, she's very slight in stature,
scrawny type of thing. And that's why when I was like, oh, it's Stevie, and I was like, no, there's a second one because
100%.
There's those shots. You don't even have to equate it to them, this killer fighting this big football type of guy. There are shots that whoever it was under that costume or that what is it
was
called?
Clearly closer to the slicker.
Yeah, the slicker
was clearly closer to the same height.
A big guy, and
at
the
least,
shots that
at
he's
least
doing.
they were matched size for
size.
Exactly.
So it was nah, man. It's 2025. We're not
doing this anymore. We're not doing that fake out shit.
That's
anymore.
it. Fake out stuff. That oh no, it's she had shoulder pads.
It's this little girl who was on stilts. No, that's
that's stupid. So I was yeah, okay. There's definitely
a second one. And so what's revealed at the end of the film, post we think we're quote unquote at the end because Stevie's been allegedly shot and killed. Allegedly. It's then revealed that actually, because she had been working with Ray as at his bar this entire time, they had gotten to know one another, and he, in some sort of weird. I didn't love this plot point.
Yeah, so me neither.
Thank you.
Actually,
okay.
it's something that I didn't like.
Good.
That he is the killer, and his reasoning was completely
his reasoning
baseless.
Was, oh,
and
it's so
like.
Yeah, his reasoning was essentially that they're like everybody, like her friends all abandoned her in her time of need. She deserved like revenge, and this whole town tries to shove under the rug what happened to us, and that shouldn't be like 27 years ago. That's not right. That shouldn't be happening.
His basic thing is that he didn't move on. The town did, and now he's like upset about it.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, it was why would that turn you crazy after 27 years?
Yeah, it was very ham-fisted. I did not love that at all. They were really looking for a reason. Because again, unfortunately, I think that's part of it. Like, okay, so at the point where there is a scene in which Stevie is trying to get a hold of her friends and she can't get a hold of people on the phone.
Right.
And she's freaking out and she's telling Ray that she can't get a hold of them. He hugs her and says, "You're going to get through this. Don't worry." And I was kind of like, are they working together? And that was like a question that I had.
Right,
and then after I could tell that we weren't at the end of the movie, after Stevie was quote unquote shot and fell off the boat, I was like, oh no, Ray's the second killer. And I know they were trying to surprise us. I'm sorry, writers. I know they were trying to surprise us by being like, oh my God, the legacy character is the killer, because that's not really something that they do very often. To be fair, which I do appreciate them doing that.
Yeah, I was kind of, let's say, I was partially surprised when this happened.
I appreciate that they did it.
But I also knew there was going to be a second one.
I appreciate that they did it. I appreciate that Freddie Prinze Jr. was up for it. Cool. Good for you for being a good sport with that. I love that. But I did kind of, I guessed. And I was like, oops.
I mean, look, hey, it's a summer slasher.
I know.
It's not meant to be like all mysterious and oh no, how dare you guess all of this?
No, agreed. That's true. So, but overall, like that's it. I found the cast was pretty strong, which I can appreciate. Like I didn't, I found like everybody was kind of, as long as they were well written, they were kind of pulling their weight.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you did have, in the same way that the first one does, you have a lot of really weird red herring characters that crop up.
I think there was only one.
What was the priest?
The podcast girl.
The pastor,
oh, yeah, the priest, yeah.
The pastor and his, like, assistant or whatever, who also works for Stevie.
The assistant, she was
they seemed like they were running a cult. That was weird.
Yeah, sure.
So you did have, like, a few red herrings. That happens in the first film as well. Mm-hmm. Like, there's, like, the guy who was, like, killed at the beginning or whatever. It's, like, his sister, and you're, like, it's a very convoluted plot line. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Which also, you notice there's still nostalgia for that in this film, because the guy who was killed or whatever it is there in the original film, and they go looking and they speak to his sister and stuff like that, she calls him Billy Blue, and Ray's bar has a big Billy Blue banner up.
Oh yeah, it's true. I remember. I noticed that. Yeah.
That was a callback to the first film.
That's cool. Yeah. That's it.
And Ray's character in the first film is the one who has been visiting her to talk about Billy and stuff because of the level of guilt that he feels over what occurred. So that all kind of ties in anyway. So that all ties into his character, which again, it's too bad because I'm like, oh, that's like interesting stuff that I feel like they kind of like really tried to do something with, but it didn't quite pan out that well.
Yeah, I know they tried a bunch of stuff. I mean, I even remember seeing shots that were the same, that were obviously doing like
very much
a callback and stuff. And there's a couple of the lines that are like, the whole thing at the end when Jennifer Love Hewitt character, she's like, "What are you waiting for? What?" And like, that was not the scene for it, but okay. I mean, I also get it because of what happens during that scene. But
it's also like it's two original characters. One of them has gone crazy. So I do.
There was
like
a lot of things. It was too strange for me. I didn't necessarily hate it, but I didn't like it.
Agreed. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
I guess my only last point in terms of like anything like that. So that's kind of like what's revealed. So I feel like we're very middle of the road about it. Yeah. It was fun. It was fine. But what I did love, so they did actually, so I know Sarah Michelle Gellar had been approached to reprise her role, but what she didn't want to do was retcon the death that Helen has in the first film. So Sarah Michelle Gellar does have a cameo in this movie, but she comes back in like a dream sequence instead as her character to speak to her counterpart in this film, who's Danica's character, Madeline Klein, and to have like a moment with her, which I kind of loved it. The de-aging looks a little funky, but
I mean, look,
it's really hard. It's hard to do.
Of
so
course.
I would never blame like the artists and people who are working on this. It's so difficult to do that on people's faces.
And like the producers also, they suggested they approached her to be back in the movie, and she literally said, she's like, no, my character is dead, man, like I can't do it. So the way that they did it in the dream and everything makes actually a lot of sense.
So much more sense for them to do it.
And she was able to be in the movie, so that,
yeah, exactly.
I'm
and
okay
also,
with that.
first of all, I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. I think she's very underrated. I don't think she's received nearly enough accolades, although she recently received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is super
I didn't know.
cool.
That's really cool.
Good for her. She's currently starring in Dexter Original Sin, and there was some really lovely behind the scenes stuff when she started there. She got like a standing ovation from the cast and crew on her first day and stuff, because she's like an icon of TV and film at this point,
100%.
particularly from the 90s and early 2000s.
She's coming back with the new Buffy reboot, so
yeah, exactly. So she's like iconic basically at this point. People know who she is, and I think she's great in everything. She's been great for ages, and I love when Sarah Michelle Gellar plays like a bitch. It's one of my favorite types of characters for her. I think that a lot of her back and forths and different stuff has been really good, but watching stuff, her character like in Cruel Intentions, she's incredible. Her playing like a villain of some kind, I feel like she's not gotten the opportunity to do that enough. She's so good at that kind of character. She's good at a lot of stuff, but I don't know what it is about her, the tone of her voice, the way that she expresses herself. If she like plays that type of character, it works so well. And I love that she was just like this version of Helen that you see in this dream that Danica has is just like a snarky bitch, and I really appreciate it.
I mean, she did a good job.
It's my favorite flavor of Sarah Michelle Gellar, basically. So I loved that. Yeah, I don't know. That's it. I feel like we're both probably middle of the road for it. It was fun. I didn't hate it. Like, I feel like I don't have strong enough feelings about it to hate it, if anything.
No, not at all. It was fun. It did its job. It was entertaining. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Would I watch the second one?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, as an addition to this, we did get a mid-credit scene. So for people like you, for instance, you've never seen the second movie, eh?
No. I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but it's just not memorable to me.
We're gonna have to. It's not great. We're gonna watch it though. You know what? It's summer. We should just do a rewatch.
Oh hell yeah!
It's like that time of year for
point.
it. Because I mean, it's set in like the Caribbean or something. Like it's hot. It's everybody's sweating. You're just like, it's perfect. It's good.
Okay,
for
well,
this time
now
of
that you
year.
say this, I feel like I did see it. I'm telling you, for sure I've seen it. I just don't remember.
You might
for
have.
sure.
So
I watched it until the killer becomes like a zombie, basically.
Oh,
that's
that third one.
That's the third one. Well,
I pretend that doesn't exist.
Okay, well then I watched all three of them. I just don't remember because they're not that good.
I think everyone collectively pretends that one doesn't
I
exist.
know, so.
Including probably the people who made it. But anyway, it's really bad. I've only seen part of it, and I was like, yeesh. Okay, yeah. So we get a fun kind of mid-credit scene, which reintroduces Brandy's character. So Brandy starred along with Jennifer Love Hewitt in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which is the second film, which was released, I think, a couple of years after the first, as character, I believe, named Kara, if I'm not mistaken. And she's the new sort of best friend character, who I had completely forgotten, but it's true, she does survive that second film. She gets, like, knocked out at some point, and then you kind of don't see her again until the end, which is too bad, because, you know, she's Brandy, and she was a huge deal at this time. She had, like, some of the biggest songs in the world at these points in her career, basically, and this was like some of her first branching out into film, which was cool. And she's done a bunch of stuff since then, but it's kind of nice to like see her come back. So Kara has like a reunited sort of moment with Julie, which leads into what will potentially be a sequel if they actually go in that direction, you know, because of course at the end we're given to understand that Stevie's character is actually in fact still alive. Carla, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was like, wait a minute, that's not her name.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. So they're reunited, and like potentially she'll be able to star in another film if there is one down the road.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole point.
Which is like the fun part of it. Well, because like we've killed Ray off now, so we need another shoe-in there.
Yeah, I mean look, so far it is maybe possible. So the movie was made for about 18 mil.
Yeah.
And so far it is tracking for the kind of like the the debut opening weekend, whatever you want to call it, 15 to 17.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty respectable for a summer slasher. You know,
it's not bad.
It's not bad. What is it? To be successful, it has to make 2x, 3x.
I think it's 2.5 times its budget.
2.5. Yeah, that's it. So like, it could do it in a couple of weeks. It could do it. So it's very possible that they do it. I don't know. Surprisingly, the ratings are not that amazing. It's 5.8 on 10 on IMDb right now.
I don't think I'd be quite that harsh. I lean more towards like a 6.5 maybe.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's the beginning. You know, only certain people rated it and whatever, so it's not that great. I mean, look, Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 39 on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't matter. But Popcorn Meter for the audience score, 68%.
Yeah, that's
so,
it.
You know,
that's what I lean. Yeah. I feel like I lean more towards between 60 and 70%. I would say, like for my own, because the Rotten Tomatoes stuff, we've seen how many fake reviews there have been over the years and all that kind of crap. So like, how seriously can you take it?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, look. Yeah.
Listen, like I think I'm with you. I think would I like watch it again regularly? Probably not. If I did a watch through of the series, sure, I'd watch it for fun because why not? I'd ignore that third one and then I'd hop 1, 2, and then this one probably, and just pretend that the third one didn't happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, if there's another one that comes out, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as long as they don't, fuck it up. Anyways.
Yeah, so it'll be more legacy characters for stuff, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's it.
Why not? Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. So listen, I think we're gonna come back next week with like a regular episode, a discussion of some kind.
Yes.
I can't remember what about now, but we're gonna come back with something.
We have a bunch of stuff. We're also like attending Fantasia Movie Film Festival right now.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of movies there, which we will also do a full-on.
I think we're gonna do a bit of a breakdown.
Yeah, we're gonna do a breakdown of actually what Fantasia is for people who don't know about it. It's a pretty big festival that is at this point getting bigger. Like Robert Eggers is writing about it on their publication and stuff like that. And there's like, actual big people who are actually coming there on the red carpet and stuff. So anyways, we're going to talk about what it is, talk about what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like. So that's coming in the next couple of weeks when we're done with all the movies. We have like 6.
We have 6 this year. Yeah, that's
6.
it. Lifed this year. Sometimes we
sometimes we do usually 10.
Yeah, that's it. This wasn't like the perfect year for that this year. So that's fine. That's it. That's what we managed this year. So we're doing 6 this year, and it'll be great. So we'll do a little bit of a breakdown, chat about some stuff once everything's kind of wrapped up. So it'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Obviously, in the meantime, you can always follow us on all of our social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky. I hope that's everything. Search for Gravetone Pod.
Correct.
And that is where you will find us. But until next time, guys, stay scared and stay tuned.
Ciao, guys.